Now let's talk about sending the messages to Azure Service Bus queue. For that, we have created a simple .NET Console program using .NET 6. We have downloaded a NuGet package called azure.messaging.servicebus. The connection string we already copied from Azure Service Bus shared access key. We know our queue name. We have created a client object of Service Bus client. We'll need a sender to send the messages. So now we are creating a client object, creating a sender object, and we are going to just loop in and create 30 messages to send to the queue. Those 30 messages will be sent in a batch. So this is how we are adding all the messages for the service bus in a batch. And then we are calling on sender.send messages async, and we're sending a batch of messages in one line. Finally, we are going to dispose of the sender and the client object as they are implemented with iDisposable. Let's see this in action. So now a batch of 30 messages have been published to the queue. Let's go over to the portal to verify the same. Currently they are 0, but if I refresh my screen, now we have 30 messages. If we use Service Bus Explorer, it'll let us see the messages, it'll let us speak into the messages. We are not going to look into that right now. Now let's go over and try to read these messages. For reading the message, I've created a separate console application, which is very similar to the sender, except that instead of sender, now it has a service bus processor. Rest everything is same. We have a NuGet package called azure.messaging.servicebus. We use the same connection string. We have a same queue name. Everything else is same except for the processor. For the processor to process, it has two handlers. One is to handle the messages. The other one is to handle any errors that occur. Let's see the implementation. For a message handler, all we want for this demo is to read the message into a string object and then show it on a console. But remember, in Azure Service Bus, you have to mark the message as completed. Otherwise, the message will remain in the queue. So once we receive the message successfully, we want to call it completed. And if there was an error were to occur, we want to show what the error was on the console and then complete the task. Having said that, right now in our portal, we have 30 messages still on our queue because we have not read them, we have not marked them completed. So now let's run this receiver code. And now it's receiving all the 30 messages that were sent to the queue. Once we have received the messages and marked them completed, the active messages in the queue should come down to 0. And that completes our demo for Azure Service Bus queue processing.